Good evening. Thank you, Bank Street, for having me here tonight. Before I start my speech, I want to give a West African proverb that says it takes a village to raise a child. Before I tell you how I get here, there are a few people in the audience I would like to thank. First of all, I want to thank Shell, who has been so very instrumental and part of my career. And I also want to thank my principal, who is in the audience, who is my boss and mentor, Mr. Joaquin Vega. And I also want to thank Norma Vega, who is also part of my journey. How did I get here? I did not always want to be a teacher. In fact, when I was growing up as a child in Sierra Leone, I wanted to be a business person. I was inspired by my great-grandmother, who was a powerful businesswoman and controlled an empire. She was a very respected woman, but she was never educated. But she was killed during the Civil War in Sierra Leone, and I saw all that she has worked for was destroyed in an hour. This is the incident that inspired me to value education. I realized that education is the only security that we have. It is the one thing nobody can take away from you. My stepmother and I fled our home and walked 150 miles from the capital of Freetown to the capital of Guinea. By the time I arrived in America, I have not been in school for 3 years. I settled in the Bronx and enrolled in MS 45. I was 14 then, and I had missed school for 3 years. I wake up every morning longing on one day that I can go back to school. And one morning I was able to enroll in MS 45. But I was also very scared and nervous, as much as I was excited. When I get to school, I didn't say anything. I just sat there, observing. I was sitting there thinking, wow, I wish I spoke English like all these other students I wish I spoke English like these other students in my class. They spoke English really well. In that particular school, I was looking forward to graduate and leaving the school because I felt very uncomfortable. I did not speak English, and every time I tried to speak, my classmates would make fun of me. I was attending an after-school program where I met Shell, and at this after-school program, he told me about Bronx International. He also told me that it was a school that he's trying to open for immigrant students. From the moment he told me about Bronx International, I was excited and decided that's the school I wanted to go. One of the reasons why I chose Bronx International is because I felt like I would be amongst people who understand me and people who will not laugh at me when I speak. At Bronx International, I decided I would become a teacher and give back to my students what I got at Bronx International. It was the place, actually, when I go into my classes, I felt important. I felt like I was learning stuff that will actually empower me in the future. Once I graduate from Oneonta, I decided to come back to Bronx International to give back what I have got from Bronx International. I wanted to be a part of a school that nurtured students, just like I was nurtured when I was a student at Bronx International. I wanted my students to be able to speak English and be in a classroom where they're not being laughed at. I wanted my students to be in a class where they feel comfortable to share what they were learning and be comfortable to make mistakes. At the beginning of the school year, I normally make a routine where we don't laugh at each other, but we celebrate what we were learning. Today, I am an American history and government teacher at Bronx International, where I am making a difference to my students. I have learned that my students have amazing natural capacity to learn language, but as a teacher, I need to give them the opportunity they need to show that capacity that they have. So I designed curriculum that basically allow them to use language where they're speaking, they're using language to express themselves and what they were learning. I have remarkable students who are planning to graduate and be just like me, who are planning to be teachers and educate other students just like I did when I was at Bronx International. So, I am, sorry. Thank you. Thank you. I have learned that my students have amazing natural capacity to learn language, but as a teacher, I need to give them the reason to use it by designing exciting projects for them to work together on. My students know that we can laugh and we can play. And I create a culture in my class where they can laugh, but we don't laugh at each other. I have remarkable students graduating this year who want to follow my path as a teacher. We desperately need a great place like Bank Street to support this when they're ready. Please help to make this program a reality so we can have teachers like myself. And I also wanted to add one more thing. When I was at Oneonta, I was in an education program that basically did not teach me how to educate newcomers that comes to America. After I graduate and start the residency program at LIU, it teaches me how to create curriculum that basically educates students. With this program at Bank Street, there will be a lot of individuals who will come into the classroom to educate teachers who will be able to produce results. Like I said in the beginning of my speech, it takes a village to raise a child, and you are that village. Bank Street is that village. We all have to work together and support newcomers just like myself. I did not get here on my own. I had a lot of people in the way who actually supported me to stand here and speak to you this night. So I wanted to encourage you that as I find value in education, I know the students that I teach find the same value in education that I have. But without teachers like myself, their dream is out of the way. But programs like this, the residency program from Bank Street, will be able to create teachers like myself who believe in the dreams of our students, and those dreams will become more of myself in the classroom. And we'll be able to educate more and more students who come into America who are scared, just like when I did when I came to America. I was scared. I did not know what to do. But I had a school like Bronx International, teachers like myself who actually prepare me on the way to become what I become today. So, in closing, please, I am encouraging every single person in this room to support this residency program in Bank Street because it's a program that I truly support and values. Thank you.